Hey folks, yes, it's me, the China Guitar Skeptic, back with another video, this one entitled Chinese Schecter and other news. Yeah, and in this episode I'm going to tell you something I've heard, which I think you'll find interesting about Schecter guitars, a good American brand. There's also a quick clarification of my done with China thing, and also I've got plenty of other news as well, so all coming up. Firstly, let me say I'm really sorry that I haven't got round to redoing the composition that I put up the other day and took down because it was not to my liking. I will redo it. It's just I haven't had the opportunity to go there yet. The next bit of news is that I've heard from my forums and from email and from YouTube comments that there has been an increase in UK border force customs seizures of fake instruments. And it seems that I'm not alone. As we suspected, the UK border force are, it seems, cracking down on the fake imports, which is a good thing. The other thing that I've been shown or told about, and I've been to look for myself, is that there seems to be less fakes on the sites selling all of the counterfeit guitars. You know the sites I'm talking about. We've talked about them many times. I'm not going to repeat them all here, basically because I don't want to promote them. But I've been on and had a little look, certainly at the site I used to use quite a lot, and it does appear that there are very much fewer fake guitars, copy brands, and there seems to be a lot more original Chinese brand instruments, particularly with the acoustic instruments. So that's a real good thing. I'm really pleased to see more companies following the Bad Cat example, although I have actually heard some fairly huge horror stories about Bad Cat recently, and I've tried to be in touch with the guy who runs Bad Cat to find out if there's an issue and if I can help and if he can get it resolved for some of my subscribers. So there is alternatives already out there to infringing instruments, and I've done my bit in showing you that the infringing instruments really aren't up to muster either, so it's probably not worth going over there and doing this. But I can't stop anybody. I'm not saying do as I do, not as I say. I'm just saying that they are an awful lot of time, hassle and cost. So you pay your money, you take your choice, folks. I have been speaking to a quite renowned now UK manufacturer of guitars who also has his instruments made in the Far East, shall we say. And I've had some very interesting news, particularly with his operation in China, in that the shipping agents, not the actual sellers or the manufacturers, the shipping agents are asking now for proof of trademark registration on the branded instruments that come out of China. This is new. This is very new. It's never happened previously. And he has been asked to prove or provide information that shows that he is the trademark or copyright holder. And while that was possible, obviously, because he is, he wasn't sure what sort of format they wanted this in, so he asked for an example. And the pro forma completed answer that they sent or showed him was for Schecter guitars. Now, as I said in the title, I'm aware that Schecter, being a big reputable US brand, have their, I think it's diamond range of guitars built in the Far East. I think it's mainly World Musical Instruments in Korea and also some in Indonesia. And I do think that there has been some comment around that they're having some parts or bits and pieces made in China as well. But this appears that they have provided trademark information for completed guitars being shipped out of China. I don't know if that's news to anybody other than me. It may be that I'm just way, way, way behind the curve on Schecter because they're not really a brand that I've really investigated or played before. I may well give them a go, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. because as far as I was aware, Schecter only made their premium brand guitars in the US and only used Korea and Indonesia for their more budget value range, I should say, in China. In Korea and Indonesia. And I wasn't aware of them putting guitars out of China. So it'd be really interesting. And also, I feel that they are, I suppose, opening themselves up to being copied, because it seems that all the brands, for example, Gibson with their Epiphone range being made in China, that the brands really open themselves up to being copied and being faked. And that shows, because there are plenty of Schecter fakes out there on the sites as well. So maybe that's why. There's also, he told me another really interesting fact. He's also given me a factory that I might like to try in India. So there's a very strong possibility that I may well be pushing the Milton brand over towards trying out India. We'll see. But he also come up with some information about the CITES regulations and what some of the manufacturers, both in India, in China, and also over in Korea, are doing, is using a compressed resined pine. There's a darkened pine. I don't know how they darken it, whether they dye it or what they do, but then it is compressed in a press, and it's impregnated with resin. Because it's pine, it's very cheap and it's not covered by CITES, and it's a softwood. And if this works out, this could be a really, really good way of avoiding having to use endangered species of hardwoods. So, my friend has shown me some examples of this, and it looks great. He had a couple of issues where they'd had to reset the frets, or resit, I don't know how you pronounce that, or how you would say it. I would say resit, because the frets sit into the fretboard. But they've had to reset some of the frets, and they've made a real pig's ear of the grain. It's pulled the grain out. And I don't know if that's to do with the species of wood and pine being a softer wood, even when it's resin bound. But it'd be interesting to see the results on that.
If you're going to play guitar, play it on the real guitar, not on the Chinese toothpick. How do you know the difference? Watch China Guitar Skeptic.
So, coming on to my second point of this video, some clarification of my comment in the last video of me being done with China. And I just want to clarify for the record that that's not me being xenophobic or dismissing China as a country or Chinese people as an entire race. That would be utterly ridiculous. The only statement I was making is that I'm done with trying to build my prototype in China because I haven't got the results that I've expected or the results that I'm happy to put my name to have out there in the marketplace for you to get hold of. So I'm not going to continue with that in China. And the other thing is that I think I've proved my point with the fakes. So I'm not going to be buying any more fake or copy or counterfeit guitars from China, because I've done all the reviews I need to do to make my point. And the reason that I felt that it was a good time to get myself out of that line of reviewing was because we've had this fantastic turn up for the books from UK Border Force stopping the fakes coming in. So I kind of feel like I've done my job and I've done my bit to influence, or perhaps I may have had a small outside influence on the thing, on the process. And certainly I don't feel that there's any need for me to continue banging on about not buying fakes in China and then buying them to show you how bad they are. I've shown you how bad they are. I don't really want any more of those guitars. I don't want any in the first place, but I certainly don't want more cluttering up the house and the new studio. So that was my point. And I'm sure that the majority of my subscribers would have realized that I'm not saying that there's nothing good coming out of China, that there are brands that have budget ranges made in China, and some of those budget ranges for Washburn, I think, does it, and I can't remember who else, but there's quite a few that have their budget range built in China that are quite reputable. They've got their quality control down because of the quantities that they're ordering in, and they probably have personnel over there to ensure the quality. So I'm not saying that there aren't any good guitars even coming out of China. I'm just saying that I'm done with buying fakes, and I'm done with trying to get my brand made in China. So yeah, it wasn't a xenophobic remark, and I'm not dissing the Chinese people. My politics probably don't align with the regime over there, but then my politics are inconsequential to any of this in relation to guitars. This is a guitar channel, not a politics channel. And to be fair, I don't feel at liberty to share my political opinions because I feel that it detracts from the message that I'm trying to send about guitars, which is what this channel's all about. And unfortunately, in the guitar community these days, there seems to be a lot of negativity and a lot of people throwing about political views and expletives, and I just don't want any part of that. I'm not interested. I'm here to make you good content that you enjoy, that you can sit down and watch with the family without it being full of swear words. And yeah, that's really not my bag. And it's not my bag to be buying any more of these Chinese instruments. So nothing against China. In the main, I am still fiercely anti-fake, and I'm still fiercely anti-poor quality and poor value for the consumer. And that won't change, whether I'm talking about China, whether I'm talking about Korea, Indonesia, India, no matter where, even the USA, of course. There's poor quality Gibsons all over the place. From the comments that I've been sent, I don't play Gibson myself, and I used to have Gibson, but it really wasn't my bag. I'm a much more of a PRS and a shorter scale length Strat type player. I like the 25-inch scale length. I don't like the 24-75, and I don't particularly feel that comfortable with the 25.5-inch scale length. So I do like that 25-inch scale length. I think Paul Reed Smith got it absolutely bang on. It could be just very, very slightly shorter, perhaps, but or maybe even longer. Who knows? But I think he's right there, right on the money, and I think the 25-inch scale length is where I want to head, and that's where I'm heading with the Milton brand guitars, because I think it gives so much versatility to players of all types. It just seems to be the perfect scale length for a guitar. So yeah, no issues against Chinese people other than those that are dishonest, but I'm equally against anybody dishonest in other countries. And coming back to the politics in the guitar circles, I'm very much against people that spread lies and untruths about people, myself included, and that's just not cool. And I think that the majority of people who watch various different channels that I watch will appreciate people for what they are and who they are. And that's all I have to say on that. That's all I have to say on the Chinese issue. I did make this in response to a very kind subscriber of mine who posted a video response, which I'm sure you'll see on my previous video. And I encourage you to go over there and watch that, because he's a really nice guy and he's got exactly the right idea. And I think he's understood me better than anybody else, really, and where I was coming from. He's spot on where I was coming from. I hope I've clarified that now. I really look forward to getting on with trying to bring you more informative videos. I hope that the sound is better on this video. I know the picture quality is terrible because I'm using my webcam from the new studio, but I've managed to get the Rode NT1 set up with a DBX 286S, which I'm going to do a little review on because it's a great little vocal mic preamp. And I think it doesn't matter. May not be related to guitars. I've used it to record acoustic guitar as well. But I think it's well worth a review. And I'll be back to do that, and also that composition video again really soon. In the meantime, folks, I really hope that you now understand where I'm coming from on the China issue. I think it's really interesting and look forward to your comments about the Schecter guitars thing. And yeah, let me know what other content you would like here, because this channel will continue. I will make videos. They may not be quite as frequent, or they may be even more frequent or regular, I should say. In the past, I've made them ad hoc. Maybe we'll do a Q&A per month and also a review video per month or something like that. Let me know what you want in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to continue making the best content that I can and just giving you what I've always given you, which is the complete, straight, honest truth. And nothing's going to deviate me from that path. So till next time, folks, take good care.